Furious.
Furious.
Oh, furious.
Something's here.
We'd like to know your name, if that's all right. We're not here to harm you.
But in the corner there looked like a red glow, and I cannot work out where it would have come from.
So, if you are trying to communicate back with me, you're going to need to shout quite loudly.
There were Nazis here. So can you come forward, please?
I got all light-headed, hang on a minute. Oh, my legs.
As we stood in that building there, I could see through the... Enemy. Yeah, someone else is speaking. Someone's speaking.
Yes, sir, yes. If I'm poison, manufacture record. It's like a light is in my face, but I can't fall for you. I close my eyes and drift away. I've been toast on you. Cause then you wake up dead one day.
We have returned to the prisoner of war camp 116. Opened in 1941, it initially housed Italian and Austrian prisoners, followed by German prisoners in 1943. The camp contained sleeping quarters with 27 bunks inside each hut. There were latrines, canteen, chapel, kitchen and camp office completing the prison section. The prisoners were employed on local farms, involved in ditch cleaning and hedging during the spring and winter, whilst during the summer harvesting duties took priority. Unlike many of the Allied prisoners of war held in German camps, recreational facilities formed part of the exercise pattern, which included an opportunity to play football. A friendly against the local Hatfield Heath team resulted in an 11-0 win for the prisoners, which is still remembered to this day. The evidence caught on our first investigation suggests that many spirits of soldiers and prisoners still remain. I just thought I heard someone move. A couple of footsteps. I just thought I heard someone move. A couple of footsteps. In there. So in three. Just heard a voice. Is there anyone here? Information is given to me of a lady that lived nearby the camp, who then married a German prisoner of war that was based there, so I arranged for an interview to hear her story. Okay, Nancy, so can you tell us your story of how you came to meet your husband? We know you lived in a house near to the camp, but I believe you met your husband, who was a prisoner at the camp, who used to work on one of the farms. Is that correct?
Yes. We lived 2 miles from the camp in a cottage, very rural, and his friend was Rudy, was working in the field behind my mother's cottage, and my mother was living there alone at the time. She used to give him tea and cake over the fence.
Okay.
And one day I was home from the hospital on my day off, and I saw him and he started talking to me, and I was a bit nervous. So I said to Mum, I said, "Who's that?" She said, "Oh, his name's Rudy, he's okay." I said, "Right." The next thing that happens is Gerhard and Rudy are out walking. They're allowed out till 8 o'clock in the evening on a Sunday. We're out walking, learning Russian together. They used to do a big circular walk. And my aunt was there, and they already knew Rudy. So they saw Gerhard and Rudy, and my mum said, "Ask them to come in for tea." Because we always had a sort of scones and cake and stuff on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So they came in, and that became a sort of, sometimes Gerhard would go, but Rudy always came. Gerhard was shyer. Anyway, one day I was home on my day off in the hospital, and there was Gerhard. And found him very attractive. His English was a bit broken, but he had these very beautiful blue eyes, and he quite liked me, and we used to laugh and joke together. It was 1947, mind you, but he still had to wear a uniform with patches on it to say he was a prisoner of war, and that's how we met.
The prisoners that you saw there, were they quite happy? Because we know there were Austrians there were Italians there.
Well, the Italians had left.
Okay.
I think they're only Germans, and they used to be graded as to whether they were Nazis. There were 3 grades. I don't know what they called it exactly, but my husband was considered safe, because I think the Nazis, they didn't let them out.
Right.
They were rabid Nazi people who they kept separate from those people. I think they had some education going on in the camp. They had to go out in the fields and work, obviously. But my husband adapted.
We make our way to the location for our daytime walkthrough and to carry out an EVP session to see if we can capture any voices. Perhaps you remember me from a long time ago. 10 years ago, when I first came here to speak to you. And we captured your voices, and we heard you walking. Can you do something to let us know you're here? Bang on something, move something. Anything at all, please. We make our way through the POW camp. We have not received any EVPs, nor have we seen or heard anything. Finally, we go to the last hut. When when me and Jason were here, we were standing here doing an EVP session, there was all this movement all along here, like banging sounds, something being dragged. Can the soldiers come here, please, and speak to us? We'd like to talk to you about what went on inside this camp. We're trying to find as many names as we can of the officers that worked and lived here. And we know that there are several spirits of prisoners and soldiers that worked here and lived here. So can you come forward, please? A huge bang from right next to us here. A loud banging sound is heard coming from nearby, which sounds like a door being slammed. Here is the enhanced audio. So can you come forward, please? A huge bang from right next to us here. So can you come forward, please? A huge bang from right next to us here. That will change colour. There's all different lights on that device. Come and stand right next to us. Come and stand here and see this red light. This red light. Shout as loud as you can into the red light. Tell us your name, please. Tell us your rank and number. An EVP is caught on the digital recorder. It is faint, but we believe it to be saying it's a radio or something. Here is the audio enhanced. This red light. Shout as loud as you can into the red light. Tell us your name, please. Tell us your rank and number. This red light. Shout as loud as you can into the red light. Tell us your name, please. Tell us your rank and number. With the sun now setting, it was time for our nighttime investigation. Something just moved outside, by that doorway. I don't know if it was caught on the digital recorder, but there was like something moving down by just where the doorway is. A disembodied woman's voice is heard saying, "He's smoking in here, by the way." And Phil thinks it's Jackie speaking to him because he turns in her direction and says pardon. But Jackie has not spoken at all. Also, who is the lady talking about, and who is she saying this to? Here is the disembodied voice with enhancements. I don't know if it was caught on the digital recorder, but there was like something moving down by Just where the doorway is. I don't know if it was caught on the digital recorder, but there was like something moving down by just where the doorway is.
We've come along to talk to you about what it was like being here. Now, we don't know whether you were being held here as a prisoner of war, or indeed whether you worked here, or whether you have just come here since. But let's assume you were here as a prisoner of war. How were you treated? Now, I've been told that this area we're in at the moment, keep getting hits on that. Been told that this area we're in at the moment was maybe where you ate and there was entertainment.
What was that? I just heard someone talking there.
No, don't. It's a weird noise that from outside.
I thought there was a voice answering you.
Yeah, I thought that's what I heard.
Okay.
I'll ask again.
Hold on.
I asked the question, was this where you ate and had entertainment? Is that correct? It's quite difficult to tell whether you can hear voices because there is some road noise. So if you are trying to communicate back with me, you're going to need to shout quite loudly. My apologies if you're already shouting at me and I can't hear you. But the device which I'm holding will pick your voice up and we'll be able to listen to it later.
Although we think that a voice responds to Phil, nothing was picked up on our audio. It was time to split up to cover the whole location. Mark, Jackie and Clive head over to the huts and the water tower on the other side of the camp, whilst Phil and I investigate the buildings on this side.
If anybody's here with us, see that little green light over there? If you go towards it, it'll turn into other different lights. Could you do that? We'll make the loud bangs that we heard when we were doing our walkthrough from up above. Could you do that again, please?
This device I've got in my hand has a built-in dictionary, and you can choose them words inside that dictionary, and this device will say it and spell it. So please feel free to use this device to communicate with us. If you don't want to use this device, then please make a noise bang something, throw something, or shout out your name so we can hear you. Now, we're not here to disturb you or invade your space. We're here to speak to you, to find out more about you. We know a lot that went on inside this camp. We actually found out that some of you died trying to escape.
Laugh.
Laugh.
Timothy.
Was that funny? You found that funny, Timothy? Timothy, was you one of the prisoners here? Or are you one of the guards? Now, as I was just explaining, some of you died trying to escape, and it was bad weather. There was lots of snow and ice, and when the thaw came, they found you dead in a ditch. Where was you trying to go? Because I was told that this wasn't a bad place. You were well looked after. Timothy, can you hear me?
We've moved over to another one of the huts that probably would have used by either the guards or the prisoners to sleep in. When we came in here earlier on, I actually heard in German, because I know a little bit of German from living over there, I heard someone ask, "What are you doing?" Who was that person who spoke to me?
We'd like to know your name, if that's all right. We're not here to harm you. We've come to talk to you. And we've come quite a way. I understand you used to go, or the prisoners used to go to the farms around here. Was you one of those people that used to go to the farm and help out? Did you stay in this country? Or did you go back home? Are you a sergeant? Could you come towards one of us and touch one of us? Or come towards Mark?
Shit, what was that?
Language on that, excuse my language.
Okay. I don't know if that was a door or something metal, but something.
It was something metal, wasn't it?
Something. Well,
Something moved. It was quite loud as well.
yeah. Phil and I hear a loud noise which sounds like a metal door being opened or closed. Here is the enhanced audio. Was it you that just made that noise? That loud noise to get our attention? Something else that we found out today. There were Nazis here, captured in the war. Are any of you still here? Come and speak to us, please. Come on. Please do something. We're here to talk to you. There's one thing I have noticed this evening. What's the matter, Phil?
No, it's just something. Felt something on my back, that was all. Sorry.
Furious.
Curious.
Furious.
Oh, furious.
Something's here. Did you just try and touch Phil? Are you furious that we're here, inside this building? We only want to speak to you, you know. Why are you so angry? If you're furious, come and tell us why. Have we done something wrong? Come and speak to us, please. Now, I have noticed that whilst we've been here this evening, it's very, very cold. In fact, my hands, I thought I was seeing something there, Phil. I was looking on the wall, I was watching lights. I'm just checking to see if there's anything outside. As we stood in that building there, I could see through... Enemy. I could see through one of these windows and there was lights in here. We are not your enemy. We are not your enemy. The war's been over A hell of a long time. We're your friends. We're your friends. We've not come to harm you or do anything.
Just wondering if he was one of the prisoners who took part in that football match that beat the local team 11-0. Kind of reminiscing in the soldiers in the First World War who went over no man's land at Christmas and played football. It felt a bit like that, I suppose. Was you in that team then when you won? Just wondering if this was one of the bunkhouses. It seems to be split up into 3 different sections and washrooms at the other end. You can see where the old showers used to be. If you was a trustee prisoner, which I think you probably would have been because the officers were on this side as well, what was your job? What did you do? Now, I know this is out of shot of camera. I know that. But in the corner there, it looked like a red glow, and I cannot work out where it would have come from. And it was in that corner over there, and there's no other light sources here at all.
There was no evidence captured by Mark, Jackie and Clive whilst they were on the other side of the camp, so it was time to regroup for the final part of the investigation. When we came into this hut on our walkthrough, you spoke to us. We couldn't quite hear what you were saying, but I believe it was something to do with this digital recorder. You were saying it was something like a radio. Well, it's not a radio. It records your voice. So when you did say those words, we played it back on here and we could hear it. So would you like to try and come and speak to us again? You banged on the door as well. Can you do that again? Now Jackie's got a thermal cam there. So if you come and stand here, she will be able to see you. Can you come and join us, please? I'm going to use this digital recorder that I've got here is very sensitive, so I'm going to ask some questions and see if we can pick up any voices with this one. Can you tell me what your name is, please? Speak into this device. Shout out your name. Who are you? You don't seem very friendly.
Phil,
Hello.
Pan behind quick. Can you? Someone's touching my back.
Is it still touching your back?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Oh shit.
Bottom on top.
In the mid there.
I'll just stay dead still then.
Still doing it?
Shit. I got fucking weird. Hang on a minute.
Right, stand dead still.
I got all light-headed. Hang on a minute. Oh, my legs.
Right, all quiet for 1 second. Are you touching Mark's back?
My legs are going like 10 to the dozen.
Right, don't speak. Don't speak. Are you touching Mark's back? What's your name? Are you one of the Nazis that was brought here in this prison of war camp?
It's doing it again.
What are you trying to do to Mark? Are you trying to hurt him?
It's like it's trying to push me forward. Look.
Wait. Got that.
What was it?
What's the matter, Phil?
No, I just got pushed.
You got it as well? Great.
Okay, so you're pushing Mark and you're pushing Phil. What was that? We hear another disembodied voice of a woman. When I say that you are pushing Mark and you're pushing Phil, she responds by saying, never. Here is the enhanced audio taken from my digital recorder. Okay, so you're pushing Mark and you're pushing Phil. What was that? Okay, so you're pushing Mark and you're pushing Phil. What was that? We now review the EVP session to see if there are any voices responding to my questions.
Can you tell me what your name is, please? Speak into this device. Shout out your name. Who are you? You don't seem very friendly.
Yeah,
There was something there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I heard that myself.
yeah. Someone else is speaking. Someone's speaking. A voice is captured and it is German. After translation, the voice is saying, our guiding principles were duty, loyalty, honour, fatherland and comradeship. Here is the audio enhanced.
Speak into this device. Shout out your name. Who are you? You don't seem very friendly.
Yeah,
There was something there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I heard that myself.
yeah. Someone else is speaking. Someone's speaking.
Speak into this device. Shout out your name. Who are you? You don't seem very friendly.
Yeah,
There was something there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I heard that myself.
yeah. Someone else is speaking. Someone speaking. We wrap up our investigation at the prisoner of war camp 116. Here and there lie reminders of the past. The local village and Nancy Vogel are campaigning to save the camp, to have it restored. But the council want to buy the land and demolish the site to make way for new homes.